Hey there, Sarah with Next Gen Medium. I'm a psychic medium intuitive. Another way I like to say that is that I've come to understand and see, explore, and accept that I have psychic medium intuitive abilities. I learned this a couple years ago. Before that, I had no idea these were things that I could do. And so, through my experience, I believe that everybody is capable of doing these things because I didn't know, and now I do. And now I live a life that it's a completely different reality. And it's quite an amazing reality. And my mission is to share my story, but also give you that possibility that you too maybe don't understand this stuff. Maybe you don't see how it's a part of your life right now. I believe it is a part of your life right now. You just don't know the language. You don't know the language. And there's a framework of mind that kind of needs to transition in order to see it for what it is. So I want to give you that possibility that you too can do this. And I want you to believe that you have that possibility. And I want to share my experiences. And maybe there will be some things that resonate with you that start making the puzzle pieces come together so that you can be on the precipice of experiencing these things for yourself. It has led me to a completely different way of understanding this world, understanding myself, gaining an incredible security with my own being, that I don't know if I could have that having not gone through the journey. So it's impacted me so greatly that it's like, I have a mission now and other people need to know about this. So one way I like to do it is through my podcast, Next Gen Medium, the podcast. I also do it through my website, nextgenmedium.com, and you can become a member and get a little bit more intimate with stuff with the membership. But that's kind of if you're a little further along. But if you're just investigating, then go to my website, check out my blog there, nextgenmedium.com, or listen up to those podcasts, which are very popular on Spotify. Spotify is the main streaming service for my podcast, I see. We're going to the subreddit of mediums, and I'm doing a question that I don't know the answer to. And I want to explain why. Because I want you to understand that once people are convinced that this alternative reality is a thing, it doesn't mean that you know it all. It doesn't mean you have all the answers. And it's a lifetime of committed to not knowing the answers, but being open to experience and learn so that maybe at some point you do have answers. But I'm going to read the question anyway. And I'm going to do the TLDR version too. Subreddit of mediums. The headline is Advice Needed from Other Mediums About a Spirit Who Doesn't Realize He's Dead. Here's the synopsis. I currently have a neutral, harmless human spirit residing with me that doesn't realize he's dead. This is a first for me in my 38 years of life. All spirits I've made personal contact with have known and acknowledged they were transformed into spirit on some level. I would like to know the gentlest way to begin the process of having the talk about being dead with him. Please. Okay. And if you want to check out this, just check out the link below. But because it does kind of go on. But there's a couple things here. One is when we talk about abilities that are supernatural, that humans are capable of, from my understanding, my experience, I'm talking about psychic, being able to know what happened in the past and know what happens in the future. Medium, which is connecting with people that have passed. Intuition, as well as healing. All of these are categories we've created and are sort of have a cultural understanding when we get into this stuff. I think in 100 years, there's going to be a different way that we talk about this. But those are the concepts that I can spit at you and that you may have heard of and that you can look up on the internet. I call these soul abilities. That's the umbrella term that are things that we shouldn't be able to do according to our cultural understanding. But I believe we can do, and I think there's some cultural norms that need to change, personally. Because I think we're limiting ourselves because we're being told that these things aren't real. Okay, so we're in the subreddit of mediums. So that's just one of the soul abilities. Mediumship has been evolving for me in that I'm not so certain that we're talking to individuals, quote, who've died, or that we're really talking to individuals. I have come to entertain the idea that the information that's received, psychic, intuitively, blah, 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 it's all information that's kind of flowing around us somehow. And it's more or less we're able to grab the information by thinking about the information. Or having our attention in a certain place that receives this kind of stuff. The more I think about it, the more it makes sense to me that we're not dealing with individual people. We're dealing with a big stream of energy. I guess that's the way I would put it. I'm still trying to figure this out. And that's the point of this video. I've had plenty of circumstances where I have received information as a medium, someone talking to people who have died, and received evidential information that has made sense to the person that I'm doing a reading for, as well as evidential information for myself that this shit's for real. In fact, one of my defining moments of feeling like, holy crap, this is for real, was a medium kind of meditation that I did that gave me a bunch of points of information that I did not know was fact, or if I was just making it up in my imagination. Imagination's fake. It's not fake. And then went to somebody and that was close with the individual before they passed, and they were able to confirm like all of these little bits of information. And to me, that was a big moment. That was a big moment for me, and it was through the mediumship. I'll call it mediumship. So, where am I going? I'm feeling a little under the weather today, so my brain's a little scattered. So, I understand mediumship, and had jumped on the train of mediumship based on the information I was given by other people. And as I go through my journey, I feel like I'm understanding things in a different kind of way. And that's the point of this post, of this video. One, the reality that each of us understands as reality is based on your own experiences. That's your truth. That's how you live this life. And the reality of receiving information in supernatural ways in which you are not supposed to receive information in these supernatural ways. Accepting that reality is really difficult. There is a lot in it that challenges all these norms you've grown up with. They could be religious norms, just cultural norms, institutional norms, even the kind of boundaries you set yourself to. of who you are. One for me, one big one was people are going to think I'm not a logical person. And so I sat for a while thinking like, do I tell people? Do I not tell people? I want to do readings and I got to tell people so I can make sure 100% that this is true. Life, truth is really important to me in this circumstance. But is people seeing me as a logical person more important than me investigating what my own truth is? That's really what it came down to. And ever since verbalizing that in my head, recognizing that fear of my own, that people would think I'm crazy or that I'm illogical, an embarrassment, fear of embarrassment, fear of the status that I built up, that I am a reasonable person, that could be compromised. That was difficult for me. And that was a layer that I had to peel and become aware of and understand and see it as a boundary that I put on myself. And what was more important? To me, it was the truth. I want to know the truth, which means I got to do things that are out of my comfort zone and do things that could compromise what other people think of me. And now I look at it and I think, I'm finally in line with my punk rock self. And being in line with yourself, with your higher self, your punk rock self, makes your life so much easier. It really does. But there's something you come across that becomes okay. In our norms, we're supposed to be seen as people with answers. Or else, what good are you? You don't have the answer. Well, you're supposed to have the answer. No, we're supposed to be able to find the answer. We're not supposed to have the answer right now when you ask for it. And it's very much the same way with understanding your soul abilities. You got to give it time. You got to give it patience. You got to give yourself time to be aware and time to work through some of the clutter that you've created. You got to kind of disassemble things. All these things that have armored you in your lifetime to get to survive, how you do. And one of the things to recognize is that there are some things you're not going to have answers for. And it's okay to not have the answers. So when I see this question, what do I do to help this spirit who doesn't recognize that they're dead? First of all, I don't know the answer. I've never come across that. I don't have an experience that speaks to truth about this. Even if I had one experience about this, I don't think it would be 100% my truth. I think it would be me feeling probable of what the answer could be. And that's an honest thing. From my experience, this is what happens. But I don't have anything to give for that. I do remember doing a reading where it seemed like somebody was present, but completely shut off. I couldn't even really see their face. And I actually visualize right now them in a fetal position where they were just completely disconnected. I could see them, but they were far away. And I really couldn't get anything. I could interpret that person is in maybe a state of not recognizing their passing. I don't know. I still can't make sense of it. I haven't had enough experiences where I can divulge a little bit more, where I can assess a little bit more. But But going off of how I started this video, of how I interpret this stuff now, part of me wonders about, even when people talk about ghosts, like not being able to recognize that they've passed. To me, it feels like I don't buy that. And that's just based off my experience. I could have something that happens this afternoon that could completely change my truth. And that's okay. And I'm open to that. I want to know the truth. That is what is most important to me. And sometimes it sounds a little far-fetched, and I get it. Listen, I'm not an idiot. I know some of this stuff is wacky sounding, but there's a lot of stuff that we accept already that's pretty fucking wacky. Come on. If this is the wackiest, then I'm happy to be wacky. So I guess that's the big thing about this video, is you're not 100% gonna have the answers all the time. Even when you are in touch with your intuition or your psychic abilities or your mediumship abilities, it's all about referencing. It's all about interpretation. And that stuff is just always going to be a good guess. My good guess would be, I am feeling that the probability is human beings aren't capable of understanding it all. We're limited. We see a 3D world. What if there's many more dimensions than just 3D? Think of what we don't experience because of our human limitations. So that's something else to think about. I think if we were looking at the source or God, we wouldn't recognize it. We wouldn't know what is happening, what's going on. I don't even know if we could really see it. All right, I'm getting way out there. Okay. If you want to get started on your journey and start experiencing your own truth, check out my podcast, Next Gen Medium, the podcast. It's on Spotify and Apple and Google and wherever else you listen to podcasts. You can also check out my website, nextgenmedium.com. I have a blog there, and that's good to get started if you're just starting to venture into these things. If you're a little more heavy into it, you've already started playing around with stuff, meditations, started reading people, and maybe want some validation. You want to hear what someone else is going through or has been through. Sometimes it's good to have that person you can resonate with. That stuff's on my podcast as well. There's going to be a point where in the podcast that you start listening to, you got to start paying for it. You can go to my website, nextgenmedium.com, and sign up to be part of the members access. And there you can stream it all. It's $14 a month. I'm sure you'll get through the 63 episodes because you're going to listen to a bunch of them for free anyway. And get through that within a couple weeks if you're deep into it. Also, through the membership, I have some exercises and meditations for you to try. I think I'm going to start giving stuff away on the membership access stuff. So join that, be part of Next Gen Medium, sign up newsletter, and subscribe. And I think that's it for this video. So advice from another medium is, I don't know. Good luck.